things overall, and I can go through one by one how to. And this is running in a single node cluster. I hope everyone knows about the Red Hat exam, like how it was.
Uh, yeah, but still, can you explain how to log in for the students?
Sure, sure, I will do that. 1 minute. Okay. Oh, it's charging. Okay, so this is the exam instructions. Like total marks is for 300, and the duration for the exam is 300, and you have to score at least 210 to get pass for this from this exam. And then so for DO 288, it's a developer exam, right? So it is running in a single node cluster. That is like only one node has been created for the entire OpenShift, and this is running in a single node cluster. And once you enter into the exam center, there will be a proctor. You have to just give the exam code and then the Red Hat login ID. So it will take you to the proctor will be there for first initial 15 minutes. So he will actually. Okay. Hello. So the proctor will be verifying your ID card, like whatever ID you are using. You have to get verification from him, and then you to scan the room, everything. So once the proctor has approved everything, then he will load up the examination page. So the examination page actually, by default, there will be a shell. Okay, you have to just 1 minute. I'm just showing up like this.
So, is there any option to select the version? Like here we can use
While
4.0.
scheduling the exam only, you have to choose the version. Either you want to write 4.14 or 4.18. You have to choose while scheduling your exam.
Oh,
Yeah, try to choose 4.18, and then so see here you have the option called terminal, right? Similarly, there will be a icon called like a red dot cap. Okay, you have to click that cap, and then it will actually load the initial instructions page, like about the exam and what is the host name that the OpenShift cluster is running, and what is the Git, because this exam is a developer exam mostly based on registry and then the GitHub login. So all the instructions will be given. So actually for DO288, there is not much information. It will give you the username, password to log in to the OpenShift cluster, and then I mean, where I have written multiple exams, but this exam has a very simple set of instructions, like what is the registry server and what is the GitHub, and what are all the Git repositories that is being configured for this exam, and you will get the domain name, and then yeah, whatever the instructions to follow, everything is there, and you have to actually click the questions from there. So you will get. It will be like this structure. Okay, you have to just click on the first question, and then there will be two icons like revisit or done. If you're done with the question, then you can click done, and if you want to revisit, just that's your purpose only. If you want to revisit, you can actually choose that, and then once you finish everything, you can go ahead and revisit that question one more time. And in it, I mean, you don't need to switch to any other cells. Once you log into the terminal, it is connected to the workbench only, so no need to connect to any other, like you don't need to do any SSH login or anything for this exam. It's just a simple instructions. Just connect to the terminal and you will be just type OC get notes, but it won't work because you are connecting to the developer login, right? So do you have any doubts?
So we will log in as a which user?
They will give you in the instructions like
Oh,
ops dev user or something like that.
oh,
And then there is a single password. That password will be used for everything. Whatever the password is set, everything is the same password.
for
Okay,
GitHub, everything.
everything is the same password.
Oh, oh.
Ops dev user, something like that, you have to log in. And also they will give you how to log into the OpenShift console and the web link URL and also the API URL to log in. Similarly, how we log in here, right? OC login -u, and then whatever user they have given, you need to input that user and then -p, and then for the password, take from the question and input here, and then you need to give the API login, okay, API URL to connect to the console through command line. So our questions is fully in command line, so you don't need the GUI for this exam, but you can log in and validate. For that purpose, you can use it. So instead of api.ocb4, probably it should be like domains, domain 1 or domain 2, domain 15, whatever. Just use the same link what they have provided and input there, and you just connect to the OpenShift console. Any doubts? Okay. Okay, I'll proceed. So the question pattern is very similar to this. Like you need to read each and every line so that you'll understand the question, like what they are asking to deploy. So the Find Smart Corp development team needs to build and deploy the. So you
Sanya, sorry to interrupt. So before we start with the questions part, can we just go through the instructions what is provided to
what instructions you want?
first page? Like we were having the list of stuffs, right? Or this is the first page you are referring to. We were having the instructions like these Bastion servers and the node informations.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I was telling before. We will be having an instruction page that will
Mm.
load in time. Okay, so you have to get all the inputs. So see, if you want to actually capture
I'll,
all the.
I'll, I'll tell you because I'll have experience giving Red Hat examination. So I'll tell you, my name is Siva. Once you click on, once you gain access to the exam, once the proctor give access to your exam, you would be given with a blank screen. Like if you close the terminal, you would be left only with that gray screen. Okay, so all you have to do is you have to find the top left corner. You have to click on this red hat icon, right? So once you
Instead
click on the red hat icon, you would see black terminal like box. That's where you would be able to execute all your commands, all right? And then you would see if you click on one more time, you would see two pages. One would have the question and the other would have instructions. The instructions would contain, it would tell you the workstation, it would tell you the domain ID. So domain is nothing but the OpenShift cluster. Let's say like if you have installed OpenShift cluster on apps.ocp.example.com, it would be in the lab. But in exam, you would have something like workstation and followed by the workstation number, because you are not the only one who's writing the exam. There would be multiple people. So you would have something called workstation 01 dot and then the domain name would be typically domain.lab.example.com. So in exam you would have something like that. So top level domain you would have. So you would have link to that workstation, and you would have certain links. So you would have some exam configuration. So if you click on that exam configuration, it would have all details. It would tell you you can log into the workstation. So typically you would have workstation, and then you would have some kind of server, and that server is managed server, because OpenShift would have the control plane as well as you would have worker nodes, right? So I'm not too sure about the exam type. So, but usually you would have three master nodes and you would have two worker nodes. But depending upon the exam, you would have, sometimes you would have only one master node and you would have two worker nodes. So that is entirely possible. So all you have to do is you would be given credentials, like if for you to log into the workstation, you have to use this username and you have to use this password. So most of the time the password is common for all the utilization. So wherever you are going to perform any SSH, they would give you one single password because they don't want to complicate the situation. So it would authenticate using OAuth, all right? So you would be given some kind of username like OPS dev, OCB dev, something like that, and then you would be given some kind of password. And after the password, they would mention you have to use this password across all unless otherwise specified. Okay. uh, for some cases you would have registry. Registry is nothing but where you are going to pull the images, where you would have predefined images that get stored in the registry. It could be a registry, some kind of RH, red hat, TLG, something like that. You would have set the domain. So for you to pull that registry, you need to log in using Podman tool. So you would typically log in using podman.registry.redhat.io. That is in typical lab environment. So when you log in podman-u, you would give your username. Most probably for login to the registry alone, they might be giving a separate username password. But if they have not given, you still can go ahead and use the same username and password that was defined. Most of the cases they would give a separate username, but you would still have to use the same password that was defined, right? So once you log into the registry, you would be able to log on to podman-u, username, then password, then give the registry name. You would be logged into Podman. Then you would be able to download images like Podman. Podman, you can inspect the image, then you can you can do all these things. Podman push, Podman pull, you can do all these things, right? So you would have something like this workbench. You would have master, then you would have, can you scroll up a little bit? You would have something like this. Workbench is the station where you would go ahead and execute everything. It is typically
Can I interrupt you?
the exam station. So uh,
Shiva, one
uh,
minute. Can I
yeah,
interrupt here? Sorry.
yeah,
So actually, as I told you already, this is a single node cluster. You won't be
okay,
seeing this. Yeah, it's a single
yeah.
node
You won't be
cluster.
saving all these things. So you
Yeah.
would simply open the terminal and click on
No, no, no,
ssh.workbench.exam.
no, not needed. That's what I told you earlier.
Uh-huh.
It is not needed. Once you open the terminal, you just run OC commands. It will work actually.
OC
You don't
command.
need to.
Okay, fine.
You don't need to
Then
log into any of the workbench or
okay.
anything. Yeah.
Okay, then
Okay.
given that ACP URL, API URL, you simply have to give OC login hyphen u username password. Then you have to give this API URL. Then you would be logged into the OpenShift cluster. So from then you would be able to continue with your exam. You don't have to do anything else.
Okay, fine. So in our case, we don't need to explicitly log into the Podman in order to connect to the registry. And
No, no, not needed. Actually,
okay,
once you get the terminal, you just start using running the OC commands. Okay, nothing is required to connect through Workbench or something like that. It's a single node cluster.
gotcha. Yeah. Thank you, Shiva.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva. Actually, if you see, same thing, only one node, right? Similarly, they have configured a similar setup for the exam as well. So single node cluster. Okay. Okay, I need to ask this question. How many of them have completed this course completely, have read this documents, everything? I mean, from the book 4.18.
I did. I did.
Okay, you did. Okay, that's fine. So as Shiva told, in the exam they will be giving everything like registry servers, domain address, and then also there will be the username, password. But for my actually I have taken this exam last Friday. For me, it is like ECP dev user or something. The username and the password is similar for everything, same for everything. You don't need to worry about passwords. As I told, the instructions are very very simple when I compare to other OCT exams. This DO288 instructions are very small and simple. It's very quick actually. You can easily get all the inputs from there. And also, if you want to really note it down, just go to activities and click on this icon, right? So show other applications and then go to the text editor, and you can actually give me a moment.
சாப்பாடு இட்லி இருக்குது
So
கட்டில்
now you
ஆர்டர்
also
பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
can you also
So you can actually minimize this into in the right on the right hand side, and you can whatever important stuff you just can save it here and use it. Use the terminal. Okay. So I'm just going to the any doubts?
no.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So I wanted to update you one more thing that you will be having a Git repository. Okay, they will give you the GitHub link. You need to actually each and every question is related to the Git repositories only. Each and every question have a separate repositories, and you need to just clone every time whenever you go to that question. Don't forget to do that, but because that is the mandatory step. And I think around 5 questions you need to do Git push. Don't forget that as well. But I will go through one by one. You can pass me anytime whenever you have doubts or concerns. So the Find Smart Card development team needs to build and deploy the supplier backend application. So here you need to note it down that the application name is supplier-backend on OpenShift, and it is coming from the source code Git repository. So they will be giving you the Git repo link like this. So it is like you don't need a password to push. You just I mean push is like without password. They have configured like that. So in this question, what we have to do is we have to build an application which is called supplier-backend, and this application has to be deployed in the under the project called Crimson. So you need to understand that which project you want to create this application, you want to deploy this application. So you have to create that project first and note down the application name at the second point. Okay, and then you also need to check what is the image that we need to build, what application we need to build. So here it is Node.js, and they give the version. Okay, so you need to get all these three inputs, and also they'll be having the registry registry server IP and everything. So in this question you are going to deploy the Node.js application, and the application name is supplier-backend, and you have to use this Git repo to clone the repository for your application, for building your application, for deploying your application. Okay, and you need to create a project called Crimson. So these are the initial requirements. So let's start working on the lab. Okay, the first thing you need to do is OC login -u, whatever developer user have given, you need to connect with that. Okay, so the project name is Crimson, right? Okay, so you need to just create OC new project.
Yeah, Sharana, sorry to interrupt. Like, can you increase the font size a little?
Oh, it's too small. Okay, is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
No problem. So I have created a new project called Crimson, and by default once you create the project it is automatically goes into that project only. You will be on that project only, but if you want to revalidate, just give OC project and Crimson. So it says that already on project. Okay, one more point if you want to note it down. So OC projects, if you give, so the Okay, in this actually, if you log in as an admin user, it will show all the projects. So there will be an asterisk symbol. But since we are using a dev user, we don't have much projects. But whatever project it has, then it will show as asterisk. Okay, just three commands to just validate it. OC new project and then OC project to enter into the project. And the second step would be you have to clone from the Git repository. Right? You don't need to do like this. There will be a direct GitHub code which you wanted to log in. They have given everything there, so you just need to do. Okay. Oh, sorry. Go to that folder, and so you will have everything here, multiple files, which is related to the Node.js application deployment question. So you'll be seeing everything here. So the file which you need to modify in the first place is package.json. You will be having the similar file dot ends with extension dot json. Just do vi and then 1 minute. Let me modify that before. I'm just recloning it after modifying the content. Yeah, you will see similar like this, but it's a different code. But you see similar like this everything, and there will be an error, like which is denoting as app.js in the red mark, right? You will be seeing the similar thing. Okay, so just go there to the line and add comma at the end. So this JSON file will be fixed, and you need to save it. One- Once you save it, you need to do git commit -m. Okay, just give fixed.
So, Sonia, here, like we have created the project and then okay, we have connected to that. How could we identify we have an issue before we fix this?
Mm. So 1 minute. So if you see the whole question, right, you need to actually create this Node.js application. So for that, the source code is provided in the Git repository. And then you need to use the image from image stream. You know about image stream, right? In OpenShift, we have the images stored in the image stream. So based on the Node.js image stream, and also you need to input the source code from Git repository. Whatever the source code that is available in the Git repository for this, for deploying this application, you have to source code that to create this application. Okay. So the first step would be create the project, go into the project, and then you need to clone the Git repository first to download all your build config files which is related to this particular project. Okay, for this question you need to first clone it, and then you have to open this package.json file, and you'll be seeing that error. That's the question, you have to do that. So there will be only one comma that will be missing on the end of only one line. You just add comma and then save it. Okay, once you save it, do git commit and then -m, fix this package.json file, and then you have to push it. Okay, I'll tell you why we need this. -m fixed. Okay. Here it is asking for username password, but you don't need to input any username password during the exam. It's very simple. And the password.
So will it ask for password? Will it prompt us?
Yeah, it will prompt for the password, but only now during the practice. During the exam, you don't need to actually give any passwords. If you give git push, it automatically push your files to the repository. Whatever changes you have committed, it will automatically push. You don't need to enter the username password in the exam.
Okay.
Okay.
So for first time also no need to do.
No, no need to give.
Yeah.
No need the username password for pushing the file to the Git repository back once you modify. Actually, what is right? Git add and then Git commit. Um, Student user configure automatically.
You need to do git push. You committed already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's, I was pre-configured everything before, but yeah, I think the lab got deleted completely. Okay, now you see everything is pushed, and so once you clone it, just modify the package.json file, and then you need to do git add dot whatever you have modified. You have to give git add dot and then commit and then push. So there will be another file, right, which is called, which ends in .js. There won't be the same name like in the exam, so you need to just find out .js. It is just for validation, because in the question they have asked to, you read this question completely. Create and work within a project called Crimson and build and deploy the application name. For us, it's supplier hyphen backend, and this is whole in understanding. Then they have given the Git repo, and then configure the build environment to use the following npm registry. So that they have given the build environment also. That is coming under this link. Nexus-common.apps. Similarly, they have given a different link, and you have to use this parameter to pass the build environment. And then the application should start on the port 3000. So the container port is I mean, you have to ensure that the container port is properly exposed. And once you deploy, this application has to be accessible through both HTTP and HTTPS. So both HTTP, HTTPS, you need to access it, and then you have to verify the deployment and then the application route, everything. They'll be having some outputs like similar to this. You have to get that output to validate this exam. So Three things you need to find out. You have to pass the build environment and then the node JS image they have given in the question, and also this application be running under the port 3000. Okay. So for that we need to validate this application has been configured either in the port using the port 3000. Okay. So for that just read the file. Just need to read the file app.js. Similarly there will be another similar file which is with the extension .js. Just go to that file and see here. See, app.listen is 3000. Like this, similarly, you will be seeing somewhere like 3000. That means this application is already configured to run on port 3000. Okay, just validate that. For our reference only, I'm saying just validate that to ensure whether this application is actually configured to run on port 3000. Okay. The question is to create the application, right? So for creating the application, you have to use OC new app. So OC new app and then application name. Okay, name is equal to supplier hyphen backend, and then they have asked to pass the variable environment, build environment. See here, configure the build environment to use the following npm registry. So and also you need to pass this parameter to call this npm registry URL. So just give hyphen hyphen. If you type like this, it automatically and get you to the build hyphen environment option, and then you need to pass the parameter what is given in the question. So npm underscore config underscore registry. Okay, npm underscore config underscore registry is equal to need to pass that whole npm registry URL here.
There is a typo. Number five got added to the list.
Yeah, we need. Thank you. Now, for deploying the application, so we have given the application name and then whatever in the question they have asked to pass the build environment as a npm config registry. And then for deploying the application, you need the image, right? So for image, they have given in the question Node.js. Just getting that. But before we pass the image, we can actually check it here. OC get image stream or IS tag hyphen N OpenShift pipe grep hyphen I Node.js. Like what are all the images you have. Similarly, whatever image they have given in the question, you need to just you are just verifying that whether it is present here, and then run the same command from the top. Mhm. Okay, so now you need to give that image. I'm just using Node.js colon 20. Okay, just typing it here. Node.js colon 20. Then you need to do this symbol, still symbol, and you need to pass the git repository. So what is that meaning is you are using the image given from the question, right? The source image, and also you are passing the source code from this git repository. So that's why you need to give the till symbol and have to give the git repository source code image which is given in the question. Okay, so I'm explaining it again. We are creating a new application. We have to use OC new app and then whatever the application name in the question, hyphen name and then the application name. And you have to pass the build environment, which is the parameter value has been given, which is npm underscore config underscore registry. And then you need to pass the whatever the access repo that is, sorry, the parameter value that is been added in the question. You have to give that and then the image name and you need to add the till symbol to call the source code from the git repository. So this will create you the application as well as the build config. Okay, you need to use oc get bc build config is bc. So oc uh, logs hyphen f config and then supplier hyphen backend. Okay, if you type this command it will actually give you the entire output like what it is doing currently. The image is building and it is creating a build config, so you need to wait for this to complete. So this will give you the build image actually. So you have to get this output as push is successful. Okay, so once this is done you can always try giving oc get all. Okay, for this developer exam you will see whatever it is created so far. So it has created both the build config as well as the application because we have used OC new app. So it will create the application and then it also creates the service. Don't create route. We have to create the route. Okay. So that will be the next part. So our criteria is we have to make sure that this application is running on port 3000 because in the question they have mentioned as container port should be 3000. So what you do, you need to just check OC get the service and then you need to actually edit the service. Service name would be the same as the application name or deployment name. So you have to give OC edit service and then Vijay, can you please mute? Yeah, thanks. Okay, OC edit and then the service name and sorry, service and then the service name. In the target port, just go to the target port and modify the target port to 3000. Only one change, okay? Edit the service and modify the target port to 3000 and save it, okay? So once this is done, you have to create route. In the route, what they have mentioned is you need to create the application URL has to be accessible on both HTTP and HTTPS. That's in the question. So you have to create secure port as well as a secure access as well as the HTTP 8080 access for this application, right? So for that, OC create route. For securing this application, we have to use Edge. OC create route edge and then the hyphen you have to call service equal to for which service are you giving supplier hyphen backend host name is for the application URL. Okay, you have to give like this That is also given in the question. You have to just copy and paste from there. Supplier hyphen backend is the application name, hyphen crimson is the project, and then it is coming to the ingress apps.ocp4.example.com. This is the host name you need to give. And also, you have to give insecure hyphen policy. Insecure hyphen policy is equal to true. This means you are allowing both the puts. Actually, edge means it will create HTTPS, and also insecure hyphen policy equal to, it's not true, sorry, it's allow. That means you are allowing both HTTP and HTTPS access for this URL for application to be connected. Then OC get route. Just give curl HTTP supplier hyphen backend crimson dot apps dot ocp4.com. You will get similar like this. And also you need to validate HTTPS hyphen k. Okay. So this is the first question. I'm just recapping one more time. Okay. So you need to get the project name and then the application name and whatever the build environment and the application port that has to be connected, and then HTTP and whatever you need to check which port it should expose the application and verify the application. So this is the question, and first thing you need to do is create the project, and you need to note down the application name and just clone the Git repository and go to that folder from the Git repository and modify the package.json file. Just fix the errors, add one comma at the end of the line which doesn't have it, and save that, and validate the application.js file to check whether the application is configured to run on port 3000. That's only for our validation. That's what I did. And then once you did everything, just do git add and then give the current directory to add the changes to the git repo, and then you need to commit it and push the changes to the git repository. And once that is done, the next step would be creating an application using the build environment, and also you need to pass the image as well as the source code from the git repository. So you have to use the command oc new app. Okay, OC new app for creating the new application, and then the application name, and you need to pass the build environment, which is npm underscore config underscore registry, which is given in the question as the parameter, and then the value has been given in the question. You need to pass that, and then you need to just copy and paste the image name which is given in the question, and then use the tilde symbol and give the source code from where the application packages and whatever the related to the application files that has been in the source code repository. You need to pass that and create the application, and give oc get all to see whatever it is done, whatever the services has been created under here for this application. And then you need to do oc logs hyphen f and then build config and then the config name, build config name to verify whether the image has been successfully created and pushed. So once that validation is done, you just go and check for the services and edit the services to target port 3000. And once that is modified, just save it and create a route with using edge is for security, and then for secure, sorry, HTTPS secure connection, and then give the service name and then the host name from the question, and use this is the main important option, don't forget to give that hyphen insecure hyphen policy is equal to allow, which allows both HTTP and HTTPS. Once that is done, then validate the application. So I have like two different patterns. So if you see here, no, yeah, in each and every question there will be like this. Okay, you have to checking your work, and you need to run that same command to get this similar kind of output. If you get that, then it's good. Any questions in this question?
Can you help to list the history command to which the all commands what we have done here?
Sure, I can do that.
Sarana, if you don't mind, can we see what is the content inside the Node.js inside the repository?
Yeah. I'll start.
No, not that Node.js. Whatever they provided in the question, right? The next, if I comment.
Oh, okay. That one.
Yeah, because we are voluming right with our Git repository with
No,
this
no,
one.
that's not from Git repository. That is something different.
Yeah, but we are volume mounting that one right to our Git repository.
This one,
Yeah,
we are adding this parameter directly by using the build environment.
yeah. Can you open that?
So even we can add this builder environment through the GUI, right? The console.
Yeah, you can access. That's right. But you don't need to actually do it. Yeah, it's not working for me.
But you can remove HTTP. You can try with HTTP.
Yeah, yeah, it's HTTP.
Okay, okay. So
Wait,
in terminal, in this terminal, don't come. Yeah, yeah.
so now I'm going to do this.
We can click on that advanced option and try for it. Yes.
Created a private repository, you will not be able to open it.
For your information, no, when I was doing the similar thing, I don't even have an option to practice this exam. Finally made some corrections to try using this. And for this question, I think I have taken this npm repository from the old question versions. From there I took, but for practice only you have to use this. But in exam, everything will be perfect, and you don't feel any issues. You don't get any issues while running this exam. Actually, just
Okay, we
I mean,
should.
copy the steps and then do the similar thing. Whatever. So these things, right? OC get all, and then I'm asking you to just validate this app.js. Whatever the file name with .js, just check that and see whether the application is configured for 3000. Those things and all. While I was testing, I was doing that. That's the instruction I'm sharing with you, just to validate it. But basically, this question has only like 3 or 4 steps. You need to create an app. First, you need to actually fix the error from the package.json file, and then just validate the image with whatever image they have given in the question. Just check using the is tag to see if that image is present, or you can also use oc get is image stream to check that image, and then create the application, and then wait for the build config to get pushed completely. Once that is done, then you need to check the application and then edit the service, modify the port to 3000, and then create route using insecure policy is equal to allow, and validate. Any doubts?
So that image will be available in the open source.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the question, they have given like full image and need to just pass that image.
Oh, okay.
Mm. That command is to validate that image is present. Right. That's why I gave this. One minute, I'm just checking whoever is present here. Okay. 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 The second question is building from a container. 1 minute. I'm just taking. This will be some confusion. Can use this PDF copy. Okay. Building from a container file. So the FindSmart Corp dev team is ready to roll out a new backend service. So the service name is called Postal-Backend, using a container-based registry strategy. So you have to, from the question itself, you have to understand that you need to use the strategy as Docker because it is a container-based strategy, and the application name is Postal-Backend. The operations team have granted you all the required rights to create the OpenShift resources you need for deploying this application. So your task is to create a project in OpenShift, and then you need to use to build and deploy the application, and then you need to access it and test it whether the application is accessible from HTTP or HTTPS, like whatever they have given in the question. So the application must be built and deployed in the project called Xeon. Okay. So the first thing you need to note down is the project name, which is Xeon, and then the deployed application and its assets must be named postal by hyphen backend. So the application name would be postal hyphen backend, and then the application's assets can be found in the git repository. So each and every question will be having the git repository. You need to clone it. So you have to create the project and then clone the git repository. That will be the two initial things you need to do for every question, whatever which is related to git. Okay. And then they have given the